Are we doing this? Are we live?
Not yet. Welcome to This Week in Real Estate with Jonathan Harmon and Bryan Nale, your local experts on all things real estate in Middle Tennessee. Listen in as they discuss the current state of the market, the latest trends, and have a little fun while doing it. We do want to say the opinions voiced on this podcast are for general information only and not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individuals. All right, everybody, welcome back to This Week in Real Estate with Jonathan Harmon and Bryan Nale. Woo! Where we're bringing the heat to this cold market in more ways than one.
I don't know what part you're in.
Wow, it's hot.
I'm
Are
busy.
we back?
Yeah, we're back.
Well, Brian's busy. I think it's one of us. He should filter some of that to me.
I should sit up straight and have good posture.
Yeah,
My mom's
you
watching.
should. Hi, Mom.
What's going on?
So the Fed met yesterday.
Oh man, they just got
They-
really
Sounds like the beginning of a bad joke.
No joke. They met. They didn't change rates. That's the headline, right? So the sub headline is always, what is the context? What do they say in the press conference and the commentary? And nothing really significant was said. So sometimes the Fed will meet and cut rates, and the mortgage rates will go up because of the commentary. Sometimes they'll meet and they'll raise rates, but the mortgage market will love the fact that they're taking inflation seriously, and mortgage rates will go down. Sometimes they'll meet and they don't do anything, and
Nothing happens.
The market doesn't do anything, and that's what we got yesterday.
And you know, one of the things that we've said on multiple occasions in here is we've talked about with the volatility that we had in rates for a while, and you know, we skipped the fives, like we talked about all of that stuff. And what we've said is one of a couple of things are going to have to happen to stimulate market activity, housing market activity, right? Real estate activity. And that is, we're going to have to drop rate and stay there for a little bit, or people are going to have to get used to what they think is the normal.
Yeah.
So does the non-action, the inaction after this Fed meeting, does that kind of in its own way, does it stimulate activity simply because people all, like, for the last 6 months I've heard you know, rates are going to drop, and I've said I don't know that they will, right? And they're certainly not going to quickly. We've said that on here several times.
Yeah.
If they do drop overall, it's going to be a very, very slow, you know,
Kind of a stair-step thing.
at best stair-step, right?
Right. That's what we had last year. We had stair-steps.
We did, but even there, it wasn't a continuous.
No, it was
stair-step.
It was a step down, and then a rise back up to about half of what it had been before, and then
Right.
another step down.
Exactly.
And then a rise back, and you give about half of those gains back, and then another step down.
But does inaction now say, okay, we're going to stay here for a little bit, right? Basically, essentially, get used to it, kind of thing. And so if people have been on the fence, they've been putting it off for a while, but they're holding out thinking their rates are going to drop, right? Does this communicate to them, we're not raising rates, but we're also not dropping rates. We're going to be here for a minute.
Yeah.
You know, so if I really want to move in the next 6 months, there's not really a whole lot to wait for.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. That does make sense. I think that's I think you're onto something there. I really do. I can't play contrarian
Of course
or
not.
devil's advocate to this, because I think that's the market wants some stability, and then we got a signal of stability yesterday on the heels of rates being near their lows. You know, for a 3-year low, we hit that 3-year low in December, and since then it's
dropped, come back up
kind
a
of
little.
come back up.
Sure.
But we're still in a fantastic position if you look at a 3-year chart where rates are right now, we're good.
What's
we're in
the
a good
3-year
place.
high?
Jonathan, the rates they kissed 8%.
Okay. And then what's the 3-year low? Like upper mid fives?
Yeah. And that would have been in December of just last year.
So upper mid fives, I'm thinking like 5
like
whatever it is,
5.7, 5.8.
Yeah,
you
whatever
know,
the 5.6, 8.2,
and
7.5
FHA
or
is
whatever.
it was tracking like
Of course.
5.5, and FHA is still down there in the fives. Conventional has kind of eked back up into the low sixes.
Yeah. And for those of you that are watching, Brian doesn't not know. He knows. He's just not allowed to say it on camera. So
Thank you.
yes,
Thank you for that clarity.
Yeah. So
the disclaimer.
anytime that I throw that stuff out there like that and I try to trap him in that, he's so good at dodging the trap. He doesn't bite. So I have to kind of fill it in. But just so you know, he does know the answer to these questions. He's just not allowed to say them. So when you talk to him on the phone,
Compliance.
he's going to give you 5 minutes worth of disclaimers and then he's going to tell you the answer. But we just don't do that on the show. So
I had a
all.
conversation with a gentleman earlier this week, and he's thinking about buying a second home up in Center Hill, and you've got no application yet. This is an initial phone call, and he was pressing me for a rate, and I was like, man, I'm like, well, no, just ballpark. You know, just I'm not going to hold you to it. I'm not going to hold you to it. Just give me a number. I'm like, I am not giving anyone a number. So I'm not going to shoot that from the hip. So I had to kind of hem-haw around a little bit and pull up my pricing engine and just kind of slow walk the conversation to get to where I could give him a number. And a lot of lenders won't do it if you don't have an application in. But
Sure.
I'm
because
comfortable.
here's the thing. There's so many factors, which you may not realize.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
There's so many factors that will adjust that rate as much as a quarter, even a half a percent.
And this conversation with him started with me explaining what loan level price adjustments are to him. So like it started at that level. And so, I mean, there's...
Well, give me a 30-second. What is a loan level price adjustment?
Absolutely. So loan level price adjustment is when the GSEs, Fannie, Freddie, Ginnie, they look at a file and they assign risk. So the biggest example that I can give you that people will kind of remember, if you think back to a couple years ago when that heat map came out and it said if your credit score is here, based on the loan level price adjustment you're going to get, this is what the impact it's going to make. And the headline was all people with lower credit scores are going to get better mortgage rates than people with good credit scores. And that wasn't the right headline. That was the attention seeking headline. The reality of what happened was the GSEs, Fannie and Freddie, the primary ones, they, on conventional loans, they adjusted the loan level price adjustments so that there was going to be less penalty to people who had lower credit scores and less improvement to people with better scores. So they're basically just tightening the range. But the people with better credit scores are still getting better interest rates. Yeah. So a loan level price adjustment. Another good example is an investment property. We all know that investment properties are going to have higher rates than a primary residence.
And the psychological reasoning behind that is that if it got tight for me, I'm more likely to let the investment property go than my personal residence.
Right. So because of that extra risk, loan level price adjustment is applied to the pricing sheet.
Sure. Okay. Got it. All right. So anyway, lots of things. He can't just throw a number out there, and honestly, it's irresponsible to do that.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of, and here's the thing, I could say you ballpark it. I'm not going to hold you to it. Yeah. Right. And you say, okay, I can get you a 5.5.
Yeah.
Right. And then, forgot to tell you, I've got this collection. Oh, I forgot to tell you it's going to be a second home. Oh, I forgot to tell you whatever, all of these different mitigating factors. Yeah. And all of a sudden that 5.5 looks suspiciously like a 6.25. Yeah. And I say to Brian, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to say to him, well, I thought you said it was around 5.5, 6.25 is not even close.
Right.
Right. And then for you, what is the range that's not even close?
I was about to say there's such a difference there. Somebody, I might say, hey, the rate for you is going to be 6.875. And then I come back in, and because of some loan level price adjustments or just natural pricing change from the time we have our first conversation before we go into contract, the rate's 7.125. That's a 25 basis point move.
And I go, oh, that's fine. But this person says, what the heck? You can't
I'm
even
in the sevens now. And there's a psychological difference now. Like, whoa, I was in the sixes. Now I'm in the sevens. It's just a quarter of a point apart.
Exactly. So that's why it's important to get as much preliminary information, even to shoot from the hip, as you can. And, when you look online and you see a website of some sort, any sort, whether it's an online lender or whatever, and they say, today's rate is a 7 and a whatever. That's an average. Yeah. And averages, as you know, can be skewed by any kind of outliers.
Right.
And so you might say it's a 7% average, but most of the loans that have been issued are, 7.25, and maybe it was a light day and somebody somehow bought it down or whatever, and they got it to a 6.5. And so that shifts it down. But actually, the median is 7.25 or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's important to know what you're looking at.
Yeah. I had a thought. Where did it go? Oh, well, we'll come back to it maybe in pro tip or something.
There you go. All right. So no movement. And it sounds like not news, but honestly, that is news.
That's the headline. Yeah. The Fed met and there was little market reaction to their meeting. That's stability, and that's not bad.
Stability or apathy or indecision. We don't know which one, right?
That's fair.
Yeah, it could be any of those three. It could be all three of them, honestly.
Honestly, it might be.
It could be. All right. So on my side, as far as the news goes, this weather storm or this weather that we had over this past weekend, we talked about it a little bit last week. But now that we've seen what happened, holy smokes, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I've lived here my whole life and I've never seen something like this.
Yeah.
With the way that the ice happened and the rain on top, all of those different pieces.
Yeah.
We drove to Franklin yesterday, and I mean, it looked like a war zone over there, man.
Yeah.
Trees literally, and I'd seen it online where people showed where trees exploded and all this stuff. I've never seen that in person. It was crazy.
I wonder what the impact in Davidson and Williamson County will be from a closings standpoint. Obviously, a weather event like this took showings out for an entire weekend, and it extended into the week. So what kind of ripple effect will you see play out in the month of February and possibly even into March from losing a weekend of open houses and showings and things of that nature?
Well, and potentially some listings got damaged. And there's lots of effects there.
I checked in with everybody that's under contract. Hey, are you guys okay? How about the house that you're buying? Is it okay? So far for my pipeline, everything's good, but that there's people out there who are going to experience some heartbreak and some pain just from what they thought might be happening this week. It didn't get to happen because a tree fell on a house.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
no electricity.
Pipes bursting.
How many people had unexpected expenses of checking into a hotel room just to stay warm? Pipes bursting. So you got insurance claims. You got.
It's going to be wild, and it's going to shake out for a while. Yeah. Last year we had a pretty severe weather event as well, and I remember our friend Grant Hammond posting to make sure that when you're running your numbers 6 months from now and you're comparing January to June or whatever, that you remember that we lost an entire week worth of activity, essentially.
Yeah. At this point now, you can compare January of 26 to January of 25, and it can be an apples and apples look.
Yeah, sure, for sure. All right, I got one more headline for you. Amazon announced 16,000 layoffs company-wide, almost all corporate level. They just announced it yesterday or today. And then this is after, November, I think, they announced 14,000 layoffs. So it was an aggregate of 30,000 layoffs in less than 3 months, 4 months, whatever it was.
Goodness.
First of all, 30,000 layoffs is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
That you can still have a business after you've laid off 30,000 people.
That is mind-numbing.
And then to double down on that and say, and that's just at the corporate, like it says, this is corporate level jobs. This is not the DCs and such.
Yeah.
I can't fathom that. Yeah. Right. I have to take 3 zeros off of that for that to even make sense to me.
It's insane.
It is. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So then the natural question from me, though, is if Amazon is laying off 30,000 people in 3 months.
And those are high wage earning roles. Those are people who
they're not laying off from the DCs.
Yeah,
this is not your
these are folks
workers
who have been earning at a level here, and now their carpet's been pulled out from under them and have to go find jobs, and
to the tune of a small city.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The number of people, it's the population of Laverne.
Yeah.
I mean, Yeah, that's crazy. And
it's
so
spread around the country.
It is.
So it's not like one market's just getting completely hammered. My dad got laid off when I was in high school, and that town had 15,000 people with a paper plant, a paper mill, and two big defense contractors, and those defense contractors were laying people off left and right. It's devastated that town.
Sure. It's not the same thing.
It's not the same as that, but
it's not a Flint, Michigan type situation or whatever.
But it's still a lot of people.
It's still a lot. But to me, the bigger question though is, what does this mean? Like, what else is this telling us?
Yeah.
Right. And the news story that I heard today that kind of went through this a little bit, they were talking about how Amazon and Google and some of these other extremely large companies are really, really ramping up their investments into AI. And so they're just going to lead the way on that, right? But it's going to happen. That the old Ronald Reagan trickle down effect, right, is happening in a different way. And so as we start to see this at the big level, and then we start to see it at the medium level, and then we see it at the small level, what is this? How does this play out, man? And so it's going to happen fast. It is happening fast.
And so it begins.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're here.
Yeah.
So what does this mean?
I want to go crawl in a hole.
Dude, I mean, it truly is like, it is not conspiracy theory, and it is not unreasonable to look at this.
Has Amazon publicly said that that's the reason they can lay this many people off, because they can leverage artificial intelligence?
Well, they've talked about several things, right? They acquired Whole Foods. They've stopped the fresh delivery stuff. I think that was just a failed experiment for them.
Yeah.
So they've named lots of things. So I don't know that they've just come out and said, "Hey, we're laying off 30,000 people because we're replacing them with AI." I think it would be business suicide to do that.
Yeah.
I would hope it would be anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe it wouldn't be. I don't know. Maybe people are expecting it so much that they were like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense."
Well, to what I was getting at earlier, these income earners, these they pay, that's taxes that aren't going to be paid. That's that's income that's not going to be spread around in the communities where those people live. That's people who are under contract that are not going to be able to close now on their home, because when the lender calls to verify their employment, it's not likely to continue if they're being laid off in 2 weeks. So there's a massive ripple effect of that.
And even if they did continue, that's a potential foreclosure.
And here's the other thing. Yeah, it's not good in their best interest, most likely, to go ahead and close. Depends on other factors.
Sure.
Spousal income, what price point are they buying in, all that stuff notwithstanding. If they can't go get a job at Google now, because Google's doing the same thing, and they can't go get a job, where are their skills? What are they good at doing, and where can they go to replace their income at a level that they've developed a lifestyle around?
Yeah. And 2-3 years ago or so at this point, I made a comment one time, I think on one of these shows, and as we get deeper into AI, I've got a few thoughts on this. And so one is, are companies, I know the answer to this, right? But are companies asking people to essentially train their AI replacements?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So as I'm in Google or whatever, or whoever it is, and I'm excited about having this new AI tool, and it's going to be great, and it's going to make my job easier, and it's going to do all of that, am I actually training my replacement?
Yeah.
And I think the answer, what we're seeing, at least at that very high level right now, I think we're seeing that the answer is yes. That's kind of fear one. Fear two is this. There's an old process called ad absurdum, right? We take it to the point of absurd just to kind of
play it out.
Just play it out. And then it suddenly doesn't seem quite as absurd. Is, okay, AIs are trained by humans, right? Humans train AIs on how to think, what to think. It's essentially programming. Right.
Yeah.
And then the AI takes that into its engine or whatever and says, okay, we can chew it this way. Look at all these, millions of different variables, blah, 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 blah. Right. And that's how AI works.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's only trained by humans to a certain point, and then the humans are removed from the picture,
It starts training itself.
Does it train itself or does it stop? And so at that point, are we actually pushing ourselves to limit growth 10 years from now?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? I don't know the answer to that.
I would imagine that it comes down to code.
But how do you code?
I'm not a coder. I don't know.
How do you code creativity? Do you know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying, but I would imagine that the machines, the artificial intelligence computers, can be programmed in a way that they adapt and that they find efficiencies and they get smarter and they get better. But at some point, you take that human element out of it. How far can they go?
But smarter only makes them able to run more permutations.
You've seen Terminator.
I have.
That's
and they got outsmarted.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's kind of my point.
Yeah.
Right.
They got outsmarted because of time travel, not because. But
the AI couldn't think of time travel and then come up with a way to do it.
Yeah.
That's kind of my point.
Yeah.
Are we actually pushing ourselves at some point, and maybe it's way down the road, maybe it's not way down the road, but we're way philosophical.
Golly,
this has nothing to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
But are we pushing ourselves to the point where we actually stop growing as a species because we let a computer take over and it's limited by its programming?
I don't know.
You see what I'm saying?
But Jeff Goldblum said this best in Jurassic Park. We spent all this, and I'm paraphrasing, we spent all this time and resources and effort and energy because we could, but did we ever stop to think,
should we?
Yeah. I would love to be able to just rattle that quote off. I'm going to have to go back and learn it because I got a feeling over the next few years.
You wouldn't be able to learn it if you were AI.
I got a feeling over the next few years that quote's going to get more and more relevant.
Well, here's the thing.
And it ain't about bringing dinosaurs back to life.
I think it's too late.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
It's out of the box.
Yeah.
Anyway, all of that said, I think we continue to watch that. I think an Amazon giant layoff like that is a leading indicator for other things to come. Well,
and to bring it back to real estate, if Amazon's moving on from 30,000 people and we need to stimulate the economy, how do we stimulate the economy? It's through lower rates. You know, if we see, if they're on the leading edge of massive corporate layoffs, then I wouldn't be at all surprised if by the end of this year we don't see a swifter move down. It just depends on if you're watching rates and you're one who really pays attention to that stuff, you're wondering if it's going to make sense to get a refinance done this year, or if you're wondering if you can get into the 5s so you can move on from your rate that's in the 3s. Seeing news about layoffs could be good news for you as long as it's not your job.
As long as it's not you
that gets laid off.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's wild times right now.
Yes.
Wild times.
All right. Let's go to This Is Real.
Yeah, a little palate cleanser.
Hi ho, Kermit D. Frog here. What is that head on a stick?
Head on a pike over there.
Yeah.
Is that from The Walking Dead? I don't think it is.
I think this is older than Walking Dead. Probably. Look at the TV.
All the Christmas ornaments hanging down from the ceiling. My goodness.
Wild.
So look at the age of the TV, but that's an old Xbox thing on top of it, right? Like the
I don't know
motion
if that's
thing?
more of a computer monitor than it is a TV, man.
No, dude, that's a TV.
I think that's a computer monitor.
That's definitely a TV.
It's even got the outputs on the front. You see them?
Yeah. I still think it's a computer monitor.
Well, the only difference is whether or not it has the old
the hookup
multi-pin.
Yeah. So
and they're couponers.
A lot of clutter on the table. Tables
everywhere.
There's 2 tables. What does this picture say? Like
this picture
to a potential buyer.
Okay, so as a listing agent, this picture says this is a small space.
Okay.
We have a lot of stuff. And although the reality is if you put that stuff in a big enough space, it's probably not as much stuff as you think. Now they've got Christmas decorations out and that doesn't help. But this screams very small space. That's what this screams.
Yeah. I would like a little more clarity into the next room because you can see through a doorway into what might be a bedroom off of the living area of the home where there's a little dining room.
But there's a glass door in between. I wonder if that's a converted garage.
Oh, it could be.
And I also noticed the quarts of motor oil on the very bottom right corner.
Yeah.
And that angel's praying to them.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
Let's move on.
Good find.
The head on a pike is fantastic.
That's what's your first thing you see is Kermit, but then the very second thing I saw was also the head on a pike.
Yeah. And Kermit's laughing at it.
And he's like, I did that. Kermit, you murderer.
That's crazy. Okay.
The red doily on the arm is good too. That's good. That's a good one.
Yeah, I've got a great source these days for these.
Let's go shiny penny.
Shiny penny.
Yeah, please. I need some good news. Need is a little good news.
There you go. All right, back to you.
So this isn't really even a shiny penny, but it's just kind of I didn't know a little fun fact about Bryan Nale.
Let's go.
In 2001, probably, I wanted to be. That was a
long time ago.
junior at MTSU,
Quarter century.
and I thought I wanted to work in college athletics. My dream job was athletic director of a small, mid-major school, kind of like what Chris Massaro's job is, at a place where you could have some job security, didn't have all the pressure of winning at the, the Big Ten or SEC level.
There's so many comments right now.
Yeah, I bet you do. I bet you do. BRA president-elect. So but anyway, so I was like, how do I get a job in college? I need to go volunteer. So I volunteered, and I was at the women's volleyball games. I was out there running, kids playing side games during breaks and stuff. Did a little bit of that at some of the women's basketball games too. And then
How come none of the men's sports?
I was working my way up, and then I was like, man, forget this. I want to tailgate and drink beer at games. I don't want to be on the job at games. So I moved on from that. Same reason I don't work in the music business too, by the way. I just wanted to keep my hobbies. Mm-hmm. But Trent said something that made me go down this road, and he's like, Kermit's crazy. Remember Kermit's Crazies? Kermit Davis was the MTSU men's coach.
Yeah.
I did get tasked. It wasn't my idea, but I was the lead student in the initial run of Kermit's Crazies, awesome. Helping out, passing out the T-shirts and all that stuff.
Did you make the fat heads?
I did not make the fat heads. The kids right behind me took this whole Kermit's Crazy thing to another level with the big fat heads, and really they carried it, but I kind of helped plant that seed. And then Kermit did awesome things.
And then he left.
And then he left
that school.
No, he was asked to leave that school.
Whatever.
He made a lot of money leaving that school.
Exited stage right.
All right, pro tip.
Yep.
I think the most timely pro tip right now is do not hesitate to take care of whatever you need to take care of after the storm and everything. Yeah. So if right now, as we sit here, I have a branch laying across a wire. It is not an electric cable. I've double checked that.
Yeah.
But still, as soon as I can safely stand under this thing with a chainsaw, it's got to come down. So do not hesitate. But at the same time, don't panic and hire wrong either.
That's so important.
There's a lot of folks that watch from all over the region.
All over the country.
That watch TV and say, oop, there's somewhere that I need to go and rip people off. So if you have questions, if you have concerns, number one, listen to your instinct. And number two, call me. I can get you in touch with the right folks that will come and stabilize whatever it is and then come and fix it right in a timely fashion. But don't just go with the person that knocks on your door. I promise you, man, there's so many stories after stories after stories.
When I worked at U.S. Bank, we had the Good Friday tornado. here in Murfreesboro. And right after that storm, there was just widespread damage all over Rutherford County. And I worked at U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank serviced a lot of mortgages. So we would have a lot of people coming in and say, hey, my insurance company sent this check. It's made out to me and you and my general contractor. I need you to sign this check so that I can pay them. We would absolutely not sign those checks and give them back to the customer. We would most of the time say, all right, well, you sign it, get your contractor signed, bring it back to us, throw that into like some sort of escrow account or do something so that it's paid in draws. There was a whole process for releasing the funds from the insurance companies. And that's exactly why. So if you get a check and it's payable to all these parties and you're like, oh, this is a headache, this is a hassle, I just want the money so that I can pay these people to fix my house. There's a reason that your mortgage is listed on your insurance policy.
That's right.
Or your mortgagor is listed on the mortgagee clause of your insurance policy.
And listen, I'm going to just throw this out there, okay? I don't care if you're one of my clients or not, all right? If you interact with a contractor and they start threatening and you've done the right things, but they threaten, they say something kind of aggressive about payment, you know, they got to get paid up front or else they're going to move on, whatever, and you're non-confrontational and you don't want to deal with them, call me. I'll be happy to take the calls for you.
Yeah.
I will be happy to meet them for you.
You would absolutely love doing that.
I would love it.
That would be, it would give you some enjoyment.
It really would. So if you're that person and you're not an aggressive, you're not a confrontational person, I will be your bulldog for you. I'll do it.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not even joking right now. Okay. I don't care if you're my client or not. If you need that person to handle that for you, call me.
Trent, you got to clip that up and make that a story. That needs to be shared.
I'll have fun doing it.
I do have a pro tip as well. And this is going to go back to some of the conversation we had at the start of the show. And one thing that I don't have scripts per se, but I have some things that I say a lot.
Sure.
And one of those is that when I think of interest rates, I think of a menu. And on the left-hand side of that menu, you've got all the different rates. And let's start at 5 and go all the way to 7.5.
Okay.
And out next to every one of those rates, there's a dollar, there's a number, and that's how much
Call it a price.
That's how much that rate costs. So if you're ordering the 6.5% rate, there's a number that's assigned to that, and that is how much it costs to get that rate.
And all of them say market until you peel the label back.
So one of those prices is 0, and that's what we call the par rate. Mm-hmm. And so then rates higher than that will have parentheses around the number, around the price.
This is good.
And that's how much credit the lender will give you if you take that rate. Mm-hmm. So discount points don't just work to buy the rate down. You can actually, and we saw this a lot when rates were really, really low. Mm-hmm. There were people who would say, I really want to buy a house, but I don't have enough money to cover all of my closing costs. It was very common for us to say, well, instead of getting a rate at 3.75%, we can give you a 4.125 and we can give you X number of dollars to go towards your closing costs.
And at the same time that was happening in the market, on my side of it, we were not able to get sellers to pay closing costs.
Right.
So this was an easy way. You still had a fantastic rate historically.
Right.
And the lender was actually able to essentially pay
closing costs for you.
because you're paying later. So you're going to pay now, you're going to pay later.
Yeah.
And so you were able to get credits, and we did that a bunch.
Yeah, that happened a lot. That happened a whole lot. And now it's kind of going the other way with higher rates. Nobody wants to go from 6.5 to 6.875. So you see very, very few circumstances now where you would take a lender credit in exchange for a higher interest rate. But you can get the seller to pay your closing costs for you. So you can actually take that, that par rate of 6.5. And if you get enough negotiated where the seller's paying some of your closing costs for you, or any at all, or even if you don't, but you're flush with cash, you can buy your rate down from 6.5 to 5%. There's going to be a cost. We're going to run a break-even analysis, and we're going to say, okay, not if you're going to live in this home, but if you think you're going to have this mortgage,
that's the key.
In 3 years, in 4 years, in 27
16 months, whatever
that break-even is, then we decide, does it make sense? Now, I'll tell some people sometimes, like, hey, that's a 42-month break-even. That's a little long for me, but if you like it and it helps you feel more comfortable, I don't hate it, because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't have a crystal ball. And if you get to the 36th month and you're 6 months shy of that break-even point and it makes sense to refinance and you do, you're not going to say, gosh, I wasted all this money.
No, hold on. I got to go 6 more months.
You're going to be happy that you got to refinance, and you're going to have enjoyed the extra money in your budget for the 36 months that you had that lower payment. And every month that you get closer to that, and it's not like you wasted all of the cost of the buy down, because every month that you make a payment, you're recouping a little bit of the money that you paid in discount
And
points.
you know what? If it makes you feel better, then when you do that next break-even analysis, right, and you do the math on that, and you find out that you've got $250 left before you break even on the first one, add the $250 to your break-even analysis for the next one, and say, okay, so instead of
over the long game,
so instead of this one breaking even at 28 months, it breaks even at 30 months,
because I have to recoup another $250.
Whatever. If that makes you feel better, then do that.
Yeah.
We can still work the numbers in there. You just got to do a little more math on it.
But I would tell that same person, don't let that stop you from doing the refinance. If the refinance makes sense and it's going to help your family, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Do the refinance now, because in 2 months, when you're at that number, we don't know where rates are going to be.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Exactly. But if you have to do the numbers and it has to make sense, then just tack it onto the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Cool.
That's good stuff.
We
got a big weekend over there at Cedar Glade, right?
Man, dude, y'all, please. Saturday is going to be a blowout. It's going to be great. So 11 o'clock, we've got the songwriter competition that got rescheduled from this past Sunday. So 16 local songwriters are going to come in, and they're going to play an original song. We've got professional judges. They're going to play that song. They got 10 minutes to set up, play, get out of the way. And at the end, we'll crown the Cedar Glade champion. That person will go on to a showcase at the Franklin Theater. I believe it's at the end of next month. It might be the 1st of March. I can't remember exactly. But anyway, they'll go play there with the other regional champions. About 30 songwriters or so is what ends up being there. They'll play, and the winner of that showcase gets to go. They're one of 5 performers that gets a show. They're going to do a whole showcase. Well, they'll do 3 or 4 songs actually at the Bluebird, the world famous Bluebird.
This is one of my favorite events that Cedar Glade hosts.
It's fantastic.
It's so good. I'm going to be in Franklin for a volleyball tournament, so I can't be here, and that makes me sad. But man, if you like music and you like that kind of songwriter vibe and feel, and when I say that, it's not going to be everybody's strumming an acoustic guitar and singing about love. These songs
It's not all country.
Run a wide range of style, and and I remember the first year we had it, there was a girl that reminded me of Olivia Rodrigo on keyboard, and she could sing, and it was such a good song, and it was a really cool. And then we create a really cool vibe in the tap room too, because it's there's nobody up at the bar ordering drinks, nobody's talking, nobody's coming in the door during performances.
No, but during performances we lock the door. You can move around, of course, in between while they're setting up and everything. But yeah, we try to really keep it true to a listening room type situation. So we've got that. Then at 3 o'clock, our mug club gets to come in and make their selections and renew their mugs. Yeah. That's always a good time when the whole mug club shows up. But then the capstone event, if you will, 6 o'clock, we've got our second annual Mardi Gras party. Tennessee Craft Butcher is going to be here. They're going to be making all kinds of good food, including they're smoking a whole gator. So that'll come in probably around 7 o'clock. Bell Book and Bone is doing the palm readings and all of that stuff. It doesn't matter if you believe in it or not. It's fun.
It's funny. It's a good time.
It's entertaining. It's awesome. Our girl Kayla Masteller will be here with some of her art and selling the cool hats and stuff that she's handmade for us. What else do we have? Of course, the music. Bill Stieber, who does that Delta Blues. Man, he is awesome, y'all. And if you've never seen him live, you've missed out. So don't miss out again. And then the big thing for us, we've got our King Cake beer. It's a King Cake brown ale called King Bon Tom, and it's delicious. I tasted it yesterday.
Awesome.
And Ooh, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, awesome.
What's going on out the world in the Murfreesboro community, Rutherford County community, Trent?
Man, I don't know. I'm scrambling here. We're trying to get into this new space and doing all the things, so I don't know.
Fair enough.
It's not the best answer, but where we're at.
So next week we're going to be on Wednesday instead of Thursday. We have a special guest, so tune in and check us out next Wednesday.
So Wednesday at 10?
10:30.
10:30, that's right.
It's gonna be a good time.
Awesome. Good stuff, fellas. We'll see y'all on the next one.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right. Thank you for listening to another episode of This Week in Real Estate with Jonathan Harmon and Bryan Nale, your go-to resource for all things real estate in Middle Tennessee. Be sure to like, share, follow, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. We will see y'all on the next one.
Now for the nitty-gritty. Primis Mortgage Company is a subsidiary of Primis Bank, a member FDIC. Primis Mortgage NMLS number 1894879, BK number 1042893, ML number 1894879. As always, all loans are subject to credit approval and product guidelines. Equal housing lender.